Today's date is March 12th, 2011. And the place of this interview is at a church house.
What's the name of the church house? Anybody?
Church of Christ. Church house.
Yes, that's in the Church of Christ.
Great. Keep going.
The name of the person being interviewed is?
Yes, I'm the Church of Christ.
Name of Mr. Willy Wright.
Who was born in?
October 29th, 1924.
And your current address is?
3083 Avenue H East, Riviera Beach.
And my name is Justin Lindsay, and I will be conducting the interview as a member of the Children's Coalition Incorporated. This interview is part of the Veterans History Project sponsored by the Library of Congress, American Folklife Center.
Right. And the videographer is?
Willy Lindsay.
Who?
Willy Lindsay.
Gotcha. And who else is present? Carlton Cartwright,
Lisa Lindsay.
Lisa Lindsay,
Tim Lindsay.
Tim Lindsay, and
Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller.
What were some of the strongest memories of your parents?
Of my parents? Christian-hearted, hard workers, loving, caring, kindness, and they love people, a community of people. You know, it's not like today, a family in my coming was like together most of the time. They lived not too far apart, always communicating.
What did they do?
Hmm?
What did they do?
My father was a self-motivated man. He ran restaurants of his own, shoe shop, and a little gas station, like I would say a 7-Eleven type thing that's going on today. My mother was a hard worker. She worked in the laundry for a while. Then she, that is my auntie that raised me as her child. She began to get a restaurant of her own. My real mother passed when I was 4 years old. She was at 20. I know too much about her. I don't know too much about her. And the one that I call mother now is the oldest sister that raised me from 4 years to the time I went to my first year of college.
What did you dream of becoming when you grew up?
Well, the thing that I want to become, I'm not. I always, as a child, would go in the bathroom and practice preaching. But I'm not there. And my second thing in life I wanted to be was a teacher. And I did substitute as a math teacher in school, and I loved that. But once I got out, went to the service and whatever, I changed my mind, which was not what I should have did. I didn't stick to my dream. I swayed away from it. But I always believed in the God, and I loved Him, and I loved giving, I love people.
Were you drafted, or did you enlist into the military?
And I was drafted into the service. During that time, they would call you on your 18th birthday. I was fortunate enough to finish school about a year or so ahead of time. So then I had a chance to go to Florida A&M, which we call FAMU now. During that time was A&M. And they was known for the marching band or whatever. So instead of continuing in school, I was drafted into the service. And the intention I had during that time was to come out and go back to school. I did go back for a vocational education, but for a math instructor, whatever, I didn't go back to that. Some way I got sidelined from that. But other than that, I had a beautiful life. Wonderful.
Why did you enlist?
They drafted me. I had no intention of going to the service. And during my time in there, what they was doing, our race of people, they would call you out of college, which is a lot different from the white race. They had a chance to enlist or go to some ROTC schooling or whatever. We didn't have that privilege.
Why did you pick the service branch you joined?
depicted for me.
What kind of work were you doing at this time?
It's a military policeman. My MOS number was 677. I'm doing the same kind of work that a policeman do today with civilian people, all I dealt with the military. And during my time, this is World War II I'm talking about, it was segregated. And we weren't allowed to bother with the white, only with the blacks. We were separated, not like it is today. We lived differently than it is today.
Do you recall your first days in the service?
My first days in the service were like a baby born in the world. I didn't have an idea what I was doing. And the first thing they did was send me on a wild goose chase looking for a left-handed monkey wrench. Being ignorant to the fact I was all over the camp, asking, they sent me to start from one place, they'll send me to another, trying to find a left-handed monkey wrench. There's not no such thing as, and I didn't know that. So I spent the whole day. Once I found out, someone hit me to it, I found me a shade tree, and I sat down and I stayed there until the time for me to go back.
What did it feel like? What did it feel like?
What did it feel like?
How did it make you feel?
That's, I know, I forgot it. I just want to speak up louder and tell.
Yes, sir.
It, well, I couldn't be angry, but to me, it was joyful because I found me a tree for shade. And I stayed there until 5. Then I went back to my company.
Tell me about your boot camp experiences.
It was wonderful. It was an experience, something I never had before. We, when you first go into service, you are like a child first going to school. You can imagine this. You know nothing. And when you first go in your classroom to school, everybody think that they are above or better than you. You know, you are a rookie, as you can say it. So my time was in there, was taking orders from anybody, PFC or whoever it may be, because I was a rookie. And during that particular time, well, like anything else, you grow into the organization. The longer you're in there, the more respect you get from them. First you got to learn how to follow orders before you can give orders, and that's one of the things I had to learn. You always, to be a good leader, have to follow orders.
What was the ethnic makeup of the camp?
We were all, as I first said, black during that time. We didn't mix like they are today. It was in the 40s. Here, the white in this section of ethical group was in our section, all black. And the commanders was the whites, and you had some black too, but most of them was whites, especially the captains and the top graders.
Do you remember your instructors?
A few of them. Our Captain Card, he was my captain there. Sergeant Evans was our master sergeant. Sergeant Todd was my, he was over the mess hall. He was a cook. And a lot of them I don't remember. Because to be frank with you, I was kind of like a person that didn't want to be bothered too much, you know. So I didn't hang out with them. I only hung around a few people. That was my sergeant and a couple of my corporals and my mess sergeant. And a few of the other patrolmen that I associated with, because I didn't like that coming together, talking about a bunch of nothing all day long. So I was out with meeting other people.
Was your training adequate?
Well, my what?
Was your training adequate?
I would say that it was good for them.
How'd you get through it?
With the Lord. I had a little Bible with me, and I read it quite a bit, as I said, I learned how to follow orders, and that brought me through by having that training from my parents. See, my training started at home, not in the service or church anywhere. My training started in my home by my mother, learning me how to be respectable, and to follow orders. So that brought me through in my Bible. I always like to read about the Lord. And it helped me a lot because, well, it kept me on the right track.
Which war did you serve in?
Which war did I serve in? World War II. That's back in the 40s. I spent 2 years, 6 months, and if I make no mistake, 11 days. I forgot the second. I used to know all of that, but it's 2 years, 6 months, and 11 days. I went in and got out at 45. And it was a wonderful experiment for me. I had a chance to travel from America to England, Scotland, Glasgow, over in France, Harfleur, even to Paris. And I had a chance to ride the trains as a policeman. My MOS number was 677. And I traveled on a train and did the same work that a policeman do here. I had a chance to be out to patrol the people. Then overseas, I had the opportunity to guard ammunition dumps. I never did any fighting. Just happened to be in the zones.
Do you remember arriving and what it was like? Do you remember arriving and what it was like?
I remember
Arriving and what it was like?
Yes, when we left Camp Shank in New York, we went to England, and I think we was in Scotland when we first landed there. And we spent about 2 days, a couple of nights there. And it was wonderful to me because I had a chance to see parts of the world I've never seen before. That's my arrival. Although we left there and went to other places, but my arrival was in England, and it was wonderful. Wonderful thing, it's wonderful experience.
What was your job assignment?
My most number 677 was a policeman, military policeman, and during that time we had the privilege of patrolling the streets. We started off on Jacksonville, Florida, on Ashley Street and Jefferson Avenue. We had our office set up there. And from there we went to New York. And from New York we went to Peoria, Illinois. And once we got to Illinois, I started riding the train then, doing policeman work. All you did was make sure the soldiers was in order and that the uniform was fit right, you know, and the ties and everything is in place and things like that. But I didn't do no real policeman work until I went overseas. That is like guarding ammunition dumps and stuff like that.
Were certain ethnic groups assigned certain jobs?
Were they assigned certain jobs? Well, like I said, it's not like it is today. All our black was in their own section. White was in theirs. We were segregated. So some of your questions won't fit me back in that time because we weren't as it is today. But I can tell you this, as far as the different races are concerned, yes, they all had different assignments. We as a military policeman, and also you had the sailors. You had a military guy and a sailor together during my time when I was serving our forces. We patrolled all blacks. We didn't bother the whites, especially overseas. And there are some things that went over overseas. I won't talk about it, but we were separated from them. And if you was in a place and some whites was over there, especially in France where I was at and doing that place, you couldn't bother them, but they would come where you are and could run you out of a place or whatever. So what they did when they approached us, we'll get back to our captain. He come there and he stopped all of that. But if he didn't come there, they took advantage of you. just the way it was. So when you all come along now, you're coming along with something that those before you have paved the way for you to act as they do now. I'm talking about the soldiers up to date. Because during that time, it was just like I'm gonna make it easier for you to understand. You know, your civil rights was brought to you because of Martin Luther King and a bunch of other people that got it fought for it. Before then, you didn't have no rights. That's what it was in the service. No different.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
Let's see. First of all, the first one outside of military life was my overseas experience. Meeting up with French people that I thought I wouldn't be able to communicate with. However, this the catch. Those people know our language really better than the ones that know it better than we do. So I had no problem in communicating. And most of the time, like I told you in the beginning, I didn't stay with my group all the time. When time come to disappear, go where you want to go, I went over in the French section of town, and I had so many friends over there that would go and we go out to the pool, place and dance and whatever. And I come back one day and I got a couple of my buddies and tuck with me for dancing and all activities that went on over there. So it was good. In France, I loved that. There was some experiences in places I went to while in the service that I never would have had the opportunity to go to in my natural life. Because first, I didn't have the money for all that traveling and stuff like that. The Army gave it to me, I enjoyed it, and it was a great experience. Especially to meet other people of other cultures and how they act, how they responded to us, and how they opened the house up. You know, I consider myself as a friendly type guy anyway, so it wasn't hard.
Were you awarded with any medals?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I was awarded the award to being in a fighting zone at theater operation medals and a couple others. But to do any fighting, I never did. I was a guide. I was a policeman.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
When I was overseas, I didn't, except in a spiritual way. Like I said, my mom that raised me, she was a very religious type person, and may have my Bible and reading, just praying and stuff like that. Because a lot of times you don't have the opportunity to be with your parents. You can have your allotment made out to whoever you want to, and all mine went to her. But to have a direct contact like through like you all do today with your little machines and phone, we didn't have that privilege. I'm talking about World War II.
What was the food like?
Well, the food, man, let me tell you something. It was good in the sense that it was food. But every chance that I had to go somewhere to eat, I did that. Not that the food was bad, it was good. And a lot of places they had what you call house meat. Today you don't eat it. But, you know, there's some part of you'd be glad for it, because they gave us something what you call government ration food. That stuff is, no.
Did you have enough supplies and equipment?
Yes, that's one thing I did. If you go in the service, they supply you with everything you need. You lack nothing. And I guess it's the same way today. The only difference between the Army then and now is that we were segregated. But you had your uniforms, you had your food, you got your haircut, you got your dental work, your medical checkup, your everything. You couldn't have any better.
Did you feel pressure or stress?
No. I've always been a loving, free-going person. I don't let nothing stress me. And like I said, and remember this, once you began to realize that you have to first be able to follow orders before you can be able to give them correctly. So I was always able to follow orders. So what they told me to do, I did that. As long as you did what you was ordered to do, you was okay. The only person that was in trouble was those that broke the rules. And that's where I came in. They would send us at you, whether you was in the service or gone home. When you come back, you go into the stockade. As long as you obey, just like in the world today, as long as you obey the rule book, you're okay. And that was me.
Was there something special you did for good luck?
No, never believed in it. The only thing I believe in is serving God. And being obedient. That goes for anything. If you be obedient, if you're on the high road driving and it says 60 miles an hour and you're doing 90, you broke the law. As long as you're doing 60 miles or a little lower, you're okay. You can't go too slow because you get a ticket for that too. But as long as you're obeying the law, just like your mother and father teach you properly, as long as you obey God's rule, you are safe.
How did troops entertain themselves?
Well, entertainment circles are real well. They had what you call, I have to think of this name now, where you go and you can have your dances and whatever. And like I said, when I was in service, I mostly mingled after 5 o'clock with civilian peoples anyway, so I was always...
Were there outside entertainers?
Yes. You could go to any social place for entertainment. As I said, when I was overseas, when I was over in France and Hartford and whatever, I knew the people in the village, and they used to have dances at the pools and whatever, at the little beaches and whatever, and they were playing American music, and they could dance our dance. And those that were around, most of them talk our language better than we did. So I was never bored for entertainment or anything like that.
How was the seating arranged during these performances?
Well, you're talking about World War II back in the 40s. And you have no idea what I'm going to say, but if you was out in the civilian world and went to an entertainment, you sat different from what you're sitting today. You didn't sit together 1, 2, black, white, Italian, Jew, black, like that. No, you had a section you sat in, especially during my time, because back in the 40s, and even before the 40s, at theaters, you had certain theaters to go to. You had certain places to sit if you went to a theater. And in the service, once you got in the military, but we went to a place where all blacks was going, so there wasn't any such thing as where you sit, because we didn't mingle. You follow what I'm saying? We didn't mingle. We didn't even go to, in fact, we had our own place to go eat. We had our own section to sleep and stuff like that. That's when that's talking about World War II.
Do you recall any particularly humorous events?
Not with me.
What were some of the pranks that you or others would pull?
Speak a little plainer.
What were some of the pranks that you or others would pull?
Let's see. I think you're saying what other friends be saying.
Pranks.
Pranks.
Like jokes on people. Playing.
Oh no, I didn't play. I didn't play of them. They
Did
don't
other
like
people
them.
play jokes on you?
When I first went, I explained that to me, and after that I was hip. When they sent me to look for a left-handed monkey wrench, and I fixed them. I stayed all day without going back to camp. When I first started off, got into my pranks. They didn't pull that Willy Wright no more. So you do it to me one time, that's it. And then, as I foresaid, I didn't hang around my company and sit out and tell jokes and stuff like that. I ventured out into the neighborhood with people. Because most of the people, it's the first thing about the service during my time. We all was of one race, we all black, right? But you got some guys from the northern states and from the southern states, and they looked at each other differently. Once they got to know you, everything was all right. But they didn't get to know me, because I was going anyway. And it was a wonderful experience for me to meet other people and just see how they act. And by the way, I am the same way today. I don't hang around for anything that's going on after whatever I'm supposed to be is over with. I'm gone.
Do you have photographs? Do you have photographs?
I'm trying to think. Yes, I have some, but I'm trying to think about. I thought he was coming to my house because what I did, I had some pictures myself, and as a military policeman with the uniform and everything on. And I didn't know how far we was going today, but I brought papers to prove what I'm saying is true. And taking what are you doing now? You have me here talking. If this is true what I'm saying, I brought documents to back it up. It's wrong for a person to come in and say, well, I was in a certain place and I did a certain thing and they didn't do it. They're giving you false information. Mine, I was a military policeman. I enjoyed the experience. I didn't mess with too many of the military policemen because I was gone. At night, most of the time, especially when I went overseas, I didn't even sleep in my bunk. And the time when we departed, coming back to America, it's a funny thing, but I had been out with some friends of mine. We were down to the pool. We was all in a little place called, in my time, I guess, called Harfleur. And we all was there, just sitting back enjoying life. And I would go there every night. We would go out and have a good time. The guys in the company be playing cards and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't like it. And so that morning, I don't know why, but I came back a little early. We were living in the schoolhouse there. And they was packing up to leave out. Man, I had to rush in and get my stuff together and hop on the truck. I would have been left over there, AWL. But because I didn't hang around. Mm-mm.
Who are the people in the photographs?
Just me. Like I said, I have a lot of pictures of people that I knew out of the service. But my service friends, I didn't have it. No, I didn't have it. I was one of the, what would you call me, the last of the loners, I guess.
Last of the what?
Loners, the last of the 49ers, or whatever you want to say. In other words, I was then as I am in my church now. When the service over with, I'm gone. And I'm that way now. Wherever I go at, when it ends, I'm gone. To sit around and talk about what I did in America, that wasn't up to me because I didn't go for that. That was in my past. I'm overseas now, so I gotta get out and know people, and I met them, and we was in a community. Like I said, I wasn't in a fighting zone. That's the difference in interviewing me. I was a military policeman, and we overseas, what we did, we took care of ammunition dumps. And when the food or the ration or the food be issued out to different companies, that was my job. They would bring all that food to one place, and I have long pallets, company A and B and D and F or what it may be. That's their food. I'm not letting no other person get that food. And when the people from that particular come to get it with their credentials, I take it, they get their food and they're gone. That's not fighting, but I was doing what I was assigned to do. Then at a certain time, when you own the garden deal, you spent, I think, I don't make a mistake, you spent 2 hours, I believe, about 4 hours. You know, you got two people, one on that end, and one you mark, meet the third, and turn, go back and forth. And then you have a couple of days off, so I loved it. I had a chance to get out to see what life is like over there. I learned a lot, especially about self-preservation and to listen.
What did you think of officers or fellow soldiers?
What I think about the officers? Well, like I said, I learned to take orders and I wasn't around that much. So it was it wasn't so much as a learning experience, but it's more like a more developed experience for me because I learned to follow orders here. So being with the officers or listening to them was a good thing for me. And I made it a thing in my life to always listen to whoever in charge. You know, I don't have to really believe in everything he say, but he is in charge. And when I had someone that we had a dispute or couldn't get along with, it's good too, because it's a good thing to not to think different, but can come to a point afterward. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No, you don't. Anyway, that's a good thing. In other words, to be able to not to agree with each other, and yet come to an understanding where you can agree. That's the most important thing in life that I learned about humbling myself to a person.
Did you keep a personal diary?
No, not in the service, because that was a life that I wouldn't intend to keep. When I would pray the Lord every day just to get back to America safely. And once I got back here, I was going back to college, which I didn't do.
Do you recall the day your service ended?
Yes. I don't recall the day, but I can give you the years of 1945. It's in June, in the month of June, the exact date. I can give it to you, but we won't go there if you want me to. But I spent 2 years, 6 months, 11 days. In the month of June, I was out of there, and the date I mean back in America at least, and the date of discharge was on December. What date it was, I don't know, but it's here. And I was glad, because I had my foot on solid ground, what I call solid ground, back on America soil. You know, because I could have gotten left over there, as I folks say. The morning when they was pulling out, I just happened to come back to camp, to the schoolhouse, I put it there, because we live in a village in Harfleur. And I was in Harfleur, maybe we used to love to go there. It's so good that I wasn't in Paris, because we loved to go to Paris, because it was the big city like New York here, or LA here. That's what Paris is, a big city, beautiful city. Small streets and everything going on. Oh man, and the food and stuff was good. That's why I say the Army food, it was all right. But every time I got the chance to go into town, I was going.
What did you do in the days and weeks afterward?
After my service life, come back to America, see my mom, and I had plans to go back to college. We were still out there and I got back with the guys. The wrong thing in the world to do. See, if I had to stick to my original plan of staying away from people, I'd have went on to college, probably been teaching now. But I got back with the boys, I got back in the street. My father came to me one day and said, "Right." He said, "Son," I said, "What?" He said, "They are hiring policemen here in St. Petersburg. You want to be a policeman?" I said, "Nope." See, we make mistakes by speaking quick, but that would have been another way that I could have did my time after service, which I did do a good thing. I started working for the city there, and during that particular time, they had a thing where we, as garbage men, were working in the rain and anything else, and I formed a group of guys together, and we fought that. That was a good thing that I did.
Did you make any close friendships while in the service?
I'm making a friendship while I could. No, like I say, while I was in service, I was like the 49er. I didn't hang out with my company fellow men, you know, only except duty time. In the morning we got up, we went until afternoon, 5 o'clock when they had free. That time was my service time. When that was over with, I was gone. we did a thing in Jacksonville, Florida. We had our headquarters on Ashley Avenue. And not too far from us, about 4 or 5 blocks, they had a place called, in Jacksonville, a project there. I forgot the name of it. But I had some friends that lived there that I met, that some of them was doing my school, because I finished school in Sarasota. But they had moved to Jacksonville. And during that time, you know, everybody went to a different college. So during this time, some had moved to Jacksonville, and while I was in Jacksonville, I found out where they was. And so at nights, I would go stay to their house with them, HT and the guys like that. And we were good friends, so I never did stay in the Army bunks that much. Strange life, but that's me.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war in general?
No, my military experience was just an experience for me. And it's a funny thing about life. You can take it and you can put it into what category you would like to put it in. Me, my military service was just another experience in my life. Nothing that I wanted to be, nothing that I craved to be, because we had the opportunity to return back. So it's just another phase of my life where I was getting an education to learning about things. And I got a great experience. Let me tell you this. The service gave me a great opportunity to learn about the world, because the places I went to and the places I stayed at, I never could have did it without the service. So I'm not saying it was the greatest thing in my life, but it's a part of my life that I had no control over. And I took advantage of it by getting with the type of people that I was around and talking to them. And it's a wonderful thing to know people and to love people, regardless of their nationality or the race.
Did you attend military service reunions?
Yes.
How did your service and experience affect your life?
Well, you get to learn a lot from your military service. Any service, really, to tell the truth. And the most important thing about your experience in life, you got to put a valuation on them and to use it for your benefit. You know, everyone that goes in the service got a different aspect of what it does to them. To me, it was just an experience. And I can foresee it as, well, this is what I want to do when I get out, but this is what I'm learning now. Can I use this to do some of the things that I would like to do? Yes, I did. I had some good experience in the service, and I used a lot of it.
Is there anything you would like to add that we have not covered in this interview?
No, not in particular, except that I can say that, and I'm not saying it in a negative way, it's just the truth, that some lives was interrupted because of military service. Like myself, if it had never been for the military, I probably would have finished college. But after I went in and come out that first year, I never did go back. Wherein I would have been home with mom and I would have stayed there. So, and then again, you got some that probably wouldn't have had the experience anyway. In fact, I got some. So, yes, it's a benefit for me in one way, and then it's a hinder in another. It depends on how you look at it and what it plays in your life.
Thank you very much for sharing your recollections in this interview.
It was a pleasure.
Don't stop it. If you can go over there and fill out the paperwork, and then you'll have a seat, and we can keep going. You guys want to switch?
That's in your hand there?
Right here, yes, sir.
All right.
Bring it right to you.